That is why we check chat first before we start chatting shit. How are we all doing, people? And if I could just get a confirmation now from the chat that we're all good. How are we all doing? That was probably come through in a few minutes, but I'm guessing that now that I've actually turned the mic on, we should be good to go. So, as I was saying beforehand, whilst my microphone was muted, hello everybody. Welcome back if you came to watch us last time, and welcome if this is the first time you're joining us. So what we are looking at right now is a digital audio workstation, also known as a DAW, D-A-W, and this is pretty much where all the magic happens. Like in terms of making music or whatnot, last week I showed you all my track Erebus. We broke that down. We looked at all the different sections, the drums, the high sections, the low sections. So even I think the consensus that I did get back from it was that it went over absolutely everybody's heads, which is more than understandable. It's like looking at a flight cockpit or whatnot, like literally no idea what we're looking at. But what I was happy to hear was that most of you were very engaged by it, and actually quite a few of you were eager to learn more, which is great. You know, if it gives you the opportunity, whether or not you intend to make music in the future, it's always cool to sort of get a look behind the scenes. And I did have in mind about doing another track breakdown, but I thought actually what might be more beneficial at the cost of my soul and my dignity in this case is to actually try and create a track from scratch, just to sort of show you guys the process, give you an idea of you know, like what actually goes into making a track in the first instance. So hopefully that sounds like a cool concept. Rather than me, you know, like trudging through all of the different parts of an already existing track and just sort of covering the same ground that we did last week, it sort of gives you all a chance to see how like all of this gets put together. So I've got here a blank template. I'm just going to quickly test something. If you guys could be so kind as to let me know if you can hear this. Let me just turn that down. If that sounds all right, if you guys can hear that good, I've just had to turn that down. Just want to make sure that the sound is coming through all right. If we just check on Insta, hello guys, how's it going? All good. If you're watching on Insta, there's a link in the bio to find us on YouTube and Twitch, where I'll be making a song from scratch. So if you guys have access to either, it'd be great to see you there. Give us a holler in the chat when you get in. So I've got a few things set up. I have got the DAW ready to go. I've got my Google timer set for 1 hour. And this is going to get started in just a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, like I said, try as quickly as I can to put a semblance of a track together in the space of an hour. After that hour, I might take 10 minutes to do a bit of arranging. So we might have a little something to put together. Maybe like remove some sections or whatnot, like add a few, like basically keep what we've already created, but just put them in the specific order. Hopefully we'll come up with something that sounds pretty good, but if not, these are the chances that we take. I'm absolutely bricking it for context on this one. This is obviously a lot more at stake than what we were doing last week, or something that's already established. But I hope that you guys won't hold it too much against me if it ends up being an absolute dumpster fire. So yep, nice one to see you, Daryl, and thank you very much for the reminder to save, because I've already done a bit of a test run here. I mentioned this a test run just before we started, but during the actual streams test run, I did actually make a quick point to look at this little section up here where it says 1%. If I press this here, you can see it shoots up to 14, and basically if this number gets probably around the 60 to 70% range, this laptop is going up in flames pretty much. This whole project's going up in flames. So yep, keep an eye on that one, guys. If it looks like it's getting a bit too dangerous, fasten your seatbelt, and we'll see where that takes us. So in the chat as well, just before we started, I asked for a number between 1 and 12. So on the count of 3, 2, 1, in a second, I'm going to ask everyone to put their number. Not yet, Johnny. Not yet, Johnny, but I like the initiation. So we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and go. First message in. Very exciting. 9. We've got a 9 from Daryl. So we're going to go with 9. Okay, so that's going to come in handy in just a second. I'm going to explain why, but this is going to be going to writing a track. I'll try and give as much commentary as possible. Leave some feedback in the chat. I'll try and check back as often as I can, just to see what you guys are thinking of the process so far. Yeah, we ain't got anyone on Insta. Probably best if it's left that way, I'm guessing. So we start now with our number as 9 and our timer has started. So when I start up a track, like I mentioned last time, there's a preset that I always go to, and that preset is actually a Massive preset. Like, so Massive is a synthesizer, and it's actually a preset that I stumbled across quite a few years ago, just while browsing through the tutorials part, the presets part, I'm afraid. So quite a lush little tone here. So I think what we're going to try off with first is like just the general melody. What sort of melodies have we got? The reason I asked for the number is because I will shift the pitch of this up to 9 places. Doesn't like change the actual key of the track massively, but I like it for a bit of freshness of something to play along on the keyboard, and like means that there's a little bit of involvement from you guys. So I think that's still a little bit too high. I quite like that. Thoughts, guys? One thing is like a nice fall to the floor with that. So what we're looking at here is there's 2 different views that we have in Ableton. This is called an arrangement view, and I believe this is a session view. Yep, session view. So whilst we're writing, just making sure I don't forget that melody. So I'm going to keep our tempo at a nice one. Go for 122, and we've got a 1 bar leading. So that just means we've now got our loop. So hopefully the sound quality is coming through all right on there. There's just a little bit of crackling on my end. Once we've got that set in, we're going to look to get some drums. So let's see, drum rack. This is basically, I can assign quite a few different drum sounds to this. The first thing that I will usually try to attach is the kick, just to give us our sense of rhythm. So I usually stick with these wheels kicks here. If I go through my samples folder, there's a YouTube page, EDM Tips, very big fan of, and Will, the owner, has been so kind as to upload a set of kicks. It's usually my go-to. So actually, before we get too invested in setting up that kick, just going to set these up and we can sample a few kicks in there. Yep. So we're just going to try out a few different kicks here. Nothing too complex. I actually quite like this one. So what I'm doing here is this sample, the kick sample is quite long. What I'm doing here is I'm just cutting it a little bit short, and I'm just going to have a bit of a fade out on the end. So what that prevents is clipping on the samples, so that like the actual sound itself doesn't just suddenly shut off. It's like has a nice, you can see the sound wave here, it has a nice little curve on the end there, just to let that play out. So yeah, we've got our kick and we have our melody. So I think the next part here, I would probably just insert another synthesizer. For this, I'm going to load up a different one called Serum. It's quite a new one that I've been able to play with the last year or so. Before that, I used to use Massive quite religiously. This is a preset that I've made off a tutorial that I've been using, getting quite a lot of use out of recently. Let's see what we get out of it. And for those who are curious, I know nothing about music theory either, so literally everything I do is just purely by ear. Like those 4 notes. I'm going to try and record those quick, so bring that back. Okay, so just a little something for now. We'll probably have a little bit more fun with that later. Basically, these, as they're recorded in, they might be a little bit out of time. What I'm going to try is a quantize. Quantize basically means it's an attempt to try and get the notes to sit into a certain time signature, a certain tempo. So if we see if that worked. Okay, so we want to bring that back a little bit. Not quite that far. Okay, yeah, so it's tried to make a guess there. We're just going to bring that back a little. Yep, so pretty much we're just going to have that repeat. And we're just going to stick with half of that for the moment. Okay, so far so good. What are we thinking, guys? You give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, any feedback? And we're looking into Instagram. Bill, how's it going, man? If you want to try and find the link in bio, it is, you can find us on Twitch and YouTube. We're making a song in an hour. And so far the timer is at 51 minutes. We're not doing too bad. So I don't know if my stream has frozen with regards to chat. So I'm not actually seeing anyone message, but that's all fine. If not, I want to make sure that you guys are actually still able to see what I'm seeing. Doing here is I'm introducing another drum rack. So here we should probably name these as we go. We've got a kick here, main melody, and be doing here is I'm going to be trying to looking to set up some hi-hats. So I think they might need to be a bit shorter. We'll try 132s. I think that might be a bit extreme. I do actually think my chat may have frozen. Okay, yeah. So, good to see the chat's not dead. Thank you very much, Daryl. Yeah, no, like I do tend to like once you know this melody sound, you do tend to hear it in pretty much everything I produce. So far I haven't let that get in the way just yet, but there might be a point where I'm gonna have to grow up and move on from that. So until that time, we shall see. So usually for a set of hi-hats, I try to keep them quite, use two different shakers mainly. If we just get those in here, one that's got like a short, very snippy sound, and one that's got a bit of a longer, like so to put in between those. Doesn't really make much sense at the minute, but if I put them together, let's see how we get on. So if I go back into here, I actually just put both the same shakers in there. What a mess. Okay, we've got our principle here. So like we did with the kick, I'm just going to bring that in. Is this the right one? I don't think it is. No, it's this one. So if we bring this in. See, that's quite nice. So even just by shortening this up, this works with just about anything. We can get it to be nice and clicky, just to carry that rhythm along with us. So over here, what we've got is a few what we call sends. These are basically hooked up to these two effects right here, so you can see reverb and delay. If I was to turn this reverb up, nope, sorry, not there. If I turn it up here, you can you hear that echoing? So this is the reverb at work. Like I won't try and explain all this here, but basically that gives a nice little echo. What this means is that you don't have to create a separate effect for each and every track that we've got here. You can just create one channel that has one effect, and you can apply that to everything that we see on here. If we load that up with a delay, it might not work whilst that's going at that rate, at that speed, but if we stop, hear that echo? So might be easier to do that with this. Hear that echo? Hear that delay? So we've got reverb, which just adds, it's like being in a cave. So all of the echo branches off the sides, and then we introduce a delay. It's just an echo, pretty much like repeated signal with a different lengths and signatures. So with that hi-hat, just to make it sound not so flat, I'm just going to add a touch of reverb there. And with this one, so again, let's try and find it was the idea to add a different, that sounds spot on. That sounds like exactly what we need. So if I go back in here, so what I'm going to do is, this is one section of a track. If I duplicate this, what this means is that we can load up a different section of that particular instrument. So if we switch over, there we go. Okay, so we've got our kick, we've got our hi-hat. What next? So I think we could probably, I didn't really want to spend too much on the bass, because obviously we've got our main melody line, but I think we could probably look to just add a bit of bass into that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up Serum again. This is our synthesizer, wavetable synthesizer. Just going to reference some past tutorials that I've done with some presets in there. I found this nice warm bass that I've used in quite a few things now. It might not work that well in here, but we'll see. We'll give it a go. I'm just going to get rid of these actually because they're getting a bit messy. So Serum.
So I think like by adding a bass line, we can actually change the timbre of the song, the way the melody's evolving. So we've got one section. Let me just get that recorded and show you what I mean. So this is just where we get to the arrangement part later. So if we just cue that in. Okay, so let's just see how that sounds. Not going to try and tidy up too much here, just going to, like obviously because we've got a time limit, but like we'll just see what we can get done in the span of an hour. Not like that warm bass sound. So what was the other section that we came up with? If I just try to record here. Yep. We don't need that end part, so we're just going to cut that off. And what we'll do here is we shall record another bit here as well that goes along with what we played there. So where was our melody here actually? I was just having a bit of a brain fart, so and for those who are asking why I don't just copy and paste, because of the way that we did the octaves earlier, I have to go by ear on this one and just try and figure it out. Ryan, good to see you, dude. Hope you're enjoying what we've come up with so far. Any suggestions, leave them in the chat. Hope everyone else is going good. And yeah, Chad, how's it going, dude? All good? If you can, come and see us over on YouTube and or Twitch. It'd be good to see you there, man. Give us a shout when you're in. So let's just get this. So I think that might work. Okay, so what we've got now is two different sections. This is going to help us later. So we've got our main part. So if I stop there and start again. And what I can do is I can duplicate these for the minute and we can get an idea of how that all sounds as a progression. So we go to the next section. Starting to build from there. Like, so I think what we'll work on next is we'll work on a snare. So I'm going to give rhythm. I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes or so on rhythm. It's actually my weak point. And by the way, for any other producers in the chat, if anyone's watching from Resonance or whatnot, by all means, like, more than happy to take any critiques, advice on what you'd be doing better, what you'd be doing differently. Like, I'm trying to make my mixes sound a lot less muddy, and just in case you guys haven't been to Resonance before, nearly everybody's mixes that come through are just absolutely crisp and on point, especially compared to whenever I throw my junk in there. So yeah, if you guys got any advice on that one, that would be massive. Let's get snaring. Let's have a quick look at a snare. So we're going back. I basically just make a whole lot of drum racks. Luckily with Ableton's CPU stock plugins, so all of these things that have the grey background are what we call stock plugins. And basically they're really light on CPU, which is an absolute game changer. Another thing that I've actually just noticed as well that I'm going to apply here, so this is the master channel. Basically anything in this bottom section here is going to affect everything in the mix, hence the master. And what I'm noticing here is we're going over this channel here, this 0 here is basically our master volume. Anything that goes above that 0 is distorting. It's clipping, and so like it's obviously giving a signal. Which on, like we were saying about last week with louder speakers and whatnot, we want to economize, want to make sure that there's not too much happening in the same areas. So what's happening here is when we're playing, for now it's fine, but look, see where it's going red? That means that those certain parts of the song are actually going over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the master channel, I'm going to add a limiter. So a limiter, we touched on compression a little bit last week, but a limiter is basically just saying if a certain signal goes over a specific section, it gets cut off entirely, like nothing goes over it. So as you can see here, like what it is saying that anything that goes above minus 0.30 dB gets cut off instantly. You can see that little white yellow line there, that's basically any signal that's going over that. So hopefully there shouldn't be any more distortion coming through. If we was doing a proper mix, I would be using a element called gain staging, but we're on a tight bit of time, and we will have to cover that in another session. So for the minute, let's just have a look. Where were we? We are at the snare. What I will also tend to do as well is, for a little bit of organisation, a little bit of housework, group these three together here into the same track, and this is going to be our drum group. So in our drum groups, we've got our kick, our snare, our hi-hat. If we solo that, pretty much what it says on the tin. And if we go in here, this lead line, this is our bass. So if we just group these together, we'll make it a lot easier in the long run to organise. Helps to have them all be the same colour as well. So this is our melodies. Might seem a bit pointless, like rename or whatnot, but you'd be amazed at how quickly things get chaotic with regards to arranging. So snares, we say snare, I think a clap. I think we're going to go with a clap instead. Quite like that. So in this process, because I want to go through a few claps, I might use them for different purposes. I'm going to save them on this line here. I'm going to just see if there's any other ones I like the sound of. That's good for a plain clap there. That's quite nice, but why it's that long a sample, I have no idea. Chat, if you're still with us, give us a shout out. I hope you're enjoying what's going on so far. Nice little effects there, but probably a little bit too verbose for what we need at the minute. That's quite nice. For a loop in the back as well. I might keep hold of that in a separate. Let's make another channel outside the group actually. Put that in there. That's just our junk channel. We might come back to those, we might not. Let's leave that out of the group. We've got enough claps here. So I'm going to use both of these, but let's just let that run. Okay, right, so we've got a snare. What I'm going to do with this clap in the drum rack is, if I open up the menus here in the drum rack, you can actually see I've got both those snares going, but I don't want them inhabiting the same space because they're going to clip. So like we did last time, there was the panning. So I'm just going to say one of those go to the left and one of them go to the right. We hear that? So that one's in the left hand side, this one in the right, together. Nice full thick sound for the snare, and we introduce that back in. Yeah, it might not be a huge difference, but helps to clean up our mix. And actually, whilst we're here, we're going to do a little bit of, no, in fact, we'll keep working on the drums for a little while. This is the pressure of actually getting this all done in a certain period of time, is like all sorts of different ideas coming, but this is the point of it. Let's see what else we can make. So we're going to call this channel Ear Candy. This is where we're going to get a bit experimental. I'm not going to spend any longer than about 5 minutes here, he says. So this concept is basically getting a sample that's made up of. Let that stop for a minute just whilst I chat, because it might be hard to hear. Might not be. I might keep on a bit. But ear candy is like using different like so let's say, for example, if I started drumming on the table and set a microphone next to it, you can then cut that up and then manipulate the sound in such a way that it sort of provides a little bit of background for the track itself. So if you can hear here, we've got some bells, chain on wood, cola nut shaker, djembe, glass. So it might work. So what we're going to do here, we're going to use another built-in Ableton stock plugin called Simpler. I'm actually meant to be searching that. Simpler. Imagine how much of this track could have got done if I didn't faff all this time. So samples, go back to our ear candy. Let's see what glass gives us. So we'll go to slice. And so as I'm playing the keyboard, I can assign all of these different sounds to what is actually being played. So every turn this off. We want to activate that. Quite like those for a few ideas. Let's just have a bit of a mess around, see what we can come up with. Okay. So, like we did with the quantizing earlier, but because it's a repeating motif, we can pretty much just do this as we see. So we can pretty much just highlight that. No, don't want to do a Control F, and we can duplicate that all along. Why are we not duplicating? Instead, let's just paste those. There we go. Okay, so we want to move that back one. Okay. Okay, what did I just overtake there? I'm not quite sure. But what I'm going to do is bear with me, folks. Like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time on this section, but I think I might be. So we'll introduce one last thing into this section and we'll move on. The ear candy hasn't worked out as well as I thought it should, but we'll keep trying anyways. We'll see what sort of ideas come of it. Is there any more in... I think what I'm going to do is, so where that was ear candy 1, I'm going to make another one here. It's still got the same elements in there, but just with the section there. What sound did we just have? No, I'm going to leave it at that because I'm spending too much time in the ear candy, but hopefully you get the general idea. Let's have a look at time. 30 minutes, so we're about halfway through. Let's have a look. How's it going, dude? Oh no, no one's in. So hopefully you're all still in chat. You give us a quick shout out in chat. It'd be good to know that you're still alive for a start, but hopefully that you're enjoying what you're hearing. So yeah, we're going to do a bit of housekeeping. So basically, all what we said about last week, we're going to start introducing some EQ. In fact, what we're going to use for this, rather than the Ableton stock plugins here. So first of all, we're going to look at that kick. We're going to say, right, we can bring down the mids a little bit. So hopefully you might be able to hear what I'm doing with the signal here. Basically cutting off some of the unnecessary bits in the mix, just to let everything breathe and have a bit more room to sit in the mix. So I'm bringing down the mids here. You can hear which bits those are. If I just turn, that click's been on the whole time, so apologies guys. Hopefully you can hear what I'm taking out. So that part there. Yeah, we left it in. Makes it a bit boomier. So we make that a little bit tighter. Maybe bring up the low end here. That's sitting quite nice. We get a compressor in just to make that sound a bit tight. So again, those highs, make sure that the bottom signal is reaching as high as the highs there. So already that's like much boomier. You can hear that. I think as well though, if you can hear right at the end, you can hear that the clip just suddenly abruptly ends. So if we increase the fade out, we just want the start of that sound, but we want to make sure that it doesn't like clip alongside it all. Okay, so we've got our hi-hats. And so again, if we go back to our EQ, add a little bit here. And if we listen to the second part of that, low cut, we can take out all that information at the bottom there, maybe raise the ends there, make it sound a little bit higher, nice, a bit more prominent in the mix, and compressor as well, why not? Yeah, much more clarity there. So I'm just like basically making it so that similar to the limiter, instead of cutting off everything above a certain point, we're saying we're going to allow that sound to go above a certain point, as we've seen here, but we're going to say that once it goes over a certain point, to just bring it back down at a certain pace. That's what the attack and the release are here for. I'm not going to try and bore with the details again, but because we've got hi-hats that are quite sharp, we want to bring that release down, we want to let that attack go up. Any of these characteristics as well, if you guys want to hit us up after the stream, I'm more than happy to discuss any of these features, help you guys out if you ever want to make music or you want a bit more of an idea of how it's all made. I love this sort of stuff, man, so anything that I can help out with, just give us a shout. If we look at the snare or the claps, let's rename it to claps because it's not really a snare, is it? So if we low cut this, we basically cut out all that information at the bottom there. Bring that up. Yeah, we'll bring up the highs a little bit, I think, and maybe duck a little bit of these mids here on the snare. And hopefully you guys can hear the difference in that mix. I know I can, but obviously it might not mean much to quite in tune with what the whole process is. Bring that release down, let that attack up a little bit. And what we'll do with those drums as well is, whilst they're all here, we'll throw a compressor on the whole kit. And what this does is that, like, where you've got all the drums that sound like the different varying volumes and levels, we'll be able to like squeeze all those sounds together, all those drums together. Quick look, SJ, how's it going? All good? No. Yep. So if we bring that down, can you hear already how like it's brought down the whole volume of the drums themselves? And so what this does is it makes the drum sound quite nice and tight. We want a little bit of that sound to be coming through, but we want that release to be So because it brings down the overall volume of the drums, obviously to bring them all in line, what we want to do is we want to bring that up in the mix a little bit. We can see that's actually peaking a little bit, so we don't want to do it too hard. But if I turn that off, can you hear that difference? I think it's just me, but at the same point, can you hear how that kick is like really booming through with it off? But then once we bring all the other elements are able to sit in the same place in the mix. Hopefully all you guys can get that. Let's just stop and start that again. So we move on to our melodies here. So this main melody here, let's just tidy that up a little bit. EQs. So we can basically bring down quite a lot of what's happening here. Because all of the action is happening down here, but actually we want to make some room for the bass. So with that bass, we want to do the same thing. We want to just say all of this information above a certain point is not needed. Maybe boost some signals up here whilst cutting. So another handy tidbit as well is that anything below 30 dB, you can see the hertz, or not 30 dB, 30 hertz, is actually inaudible to the human ear. So like with regards to a final master, what we would do is we would actually cut those sections out, like cut out that little bit of bass, because it would be inaudible to the human ear anyways, but on a big sound system that would still interfere and still lead to a messy signal. So if we just introduce another EQ here, should really probably be coming up with some different sections, but like I find this stuff quite interesting as well. So apologies if you guys wanted a bit more out of this stream, but what we've done there is a little bit of tidying, essentially just put that all together. And what we can also do is introduce a sidechain. So this is really interesting. This is a big game changer with regards to making electronic music especially. So with a sidechain, this little button here, it's basically saying to where a compressor would look at the signal that's currently running through it. So if we look at the compressor here, should come up with a signal here. So basically it's saying every time the signal goes above a certain bit here, if we hook up this sidechain to the kick, then you can see that actually the kick has now become the sound that we use to affect the compression on all this. So if we bring this up, we're going to basically put our ratio all the way to the top. And can you hear that ducking already? And can you see the signal here as well, getting a bit fragmented? So what we're basically saying is we're giving a nice pump to the sound. If I was to turn this on and off, you can hear the drum kit still quite nice and tight, but then alongside the rest of the melody, it doesn't, like there's nothing, well, there's still a bit of something, but with this on, and we bring this down a bit, yes, yeah, massive, absolutely massive. Sidechain completely changes the vibe of the track. So hopefully you guys can get on board with that as well. Let's look at some other elements. I'm not really sure what else to add at this point. We've got our ear candy, we've got our clap. Let's have a look at Massive again and explore. Maybe introduce like a siren-y sound, I think. Although I don't know how well it's going to work. Johnny, good to see you, man. No worries, dude. We'll catch up in a bit. Hope everyone's getting on all right. Hopefully you like the sound of that. I think there's potential. Not really too sure. How long we got? 19 minutes? Let's give it a go. Oh, nearly. Did I even record that? Wow. We'll give that another go. Take 2. What am I missing here, guys? Okay, I think we've got a bit of an idea going here. Longer. Oh, no. See what we got with that. So I'm going to duplicate this, and last time didn't we? If anyone can give us a hand with this, trying to record over an already established loop. Let's see if this can actually work. Right, doing it the old-fashioned way. Copy and paste. And fingers crossed. What are we thinking? That's all right. So what we'll have is, like when we come to the arrangement, we've got this one section on the way out. So, yeah, we've got our horns. Just make that same color. And do some tidying. And we're going to try and arp after this, an arpeggio, I think, even though that scares the crap out of me for this session. But we will give it a go. Pro Q. So again, get rid of all that bottom information. Hope we can do with losing some there. So I think remember last time, like we did some subtractive EQ. I'm not going to bother with any of that today. In fact, we've got some information at the top there that we could probably do without, just because of the time limit. What was this drum sample? I quite like a little bit of that. I like it before that hit comes in. Yeah, adds a little bit of balls to the drums, I think. Let's throw it in. Good measure. Let's call it balls. Why not? 9 that's it. So, yep, we've got like our balls in this back there, and kind of, what did we say we was going to add? An arpeggio. Okay, let's give an arpeggio a go. It's gonna work. In fact, let's save this quick. As recommended by Daryl earlier, let's make sure to back up in case the whole thing sets alight. Let's get a new track in here, into the group. Doesn't want to play ball, doesn't matter. Oh. There we go. And we are going to find Massive that we just had. Documents. So we're just going to turn our reverb down a smidge. So this would, a bit of theory might help, but not like that. Let's see if this might work. So if we get our bass line, copy that in here. Now this is a shot in the dark and is a bit cheap as well, but I haven't actually played around with this. Yep, I've got the Launchpad plugged in. I was actually going to have a quick go of that after the arranging. I don't actually know what I'm doing with this arpeggio. Gotta be honest with you guys. So I'm just going to try it the old-fashioned way. Let's have a mess about with this. So yeah, what we've done is just duplicate that over, probably give it a little bit more depth. There might be a little bit too much going on at this point. I'd probably be looking to take away some bits before introducing them. But then this might be quite a good addition on the way out. I think what I might do here as well, can you all see these dials on the side here? So this is the panning that we did similar to the hi-hats. We've got 8 minutes left, so we're on the final run of this. Let's get this up, finish quick. Don't know if I really like this, but we're gonna give it a go. Yeah, I think that's about where I'd want it at this point. Just do a bit of manipulation. Okay, yep. So I think that's our arrangement done. Let me just throw on some delay and some reverb. I think if I had more time, I'd try and make that delay play into the arpeggio a little bit more. But for now, because we're on a time limit, we'll see where we're at. I might try. And we've got 6 minutes. Maybe try a ride just to see it out. So a ride is a symbol. Insert MIDI ride, and usually I'll save a ride for the end of the track. Sort of signifies where we are with it. Like, you know, sort of signifies the way out of the track itself. So right. Yeah, sort of along these lines. Actually need our drum rack first, and then our ride. Need some good ride symbols, unfortunately. Might work. I think we cut it down a bit. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Do a bit of fade out. So I think we're going to duplicate that. We're just going to spend the last 5 minutes just going over some stuff to prep us for the arrangement. So higher octave, lower octave, and hopefully this might make a bit more sense once we get round to our main section. So horns. I think we don't want them until the last part. Our main melody is looking fine. Our ARP. Let's do some. Let's just go for the standard EQ here. No, or no, actually. Use our tools. EQ3. We must be getting tight for time now. I think that Google alarm is going to come through horrifically loud. I didn't factor that in, so I'm going to try and turn that off before you all have to suffer worse than you already have done this evening. I haven't actually said it yet, but thank you all very much for rocking up to my second stream. Hopefully this one's been a little bit more informative than the last for most of you, especially with regards to a lot of stuff that we was discussing last week. As I said, more than happy to catch up with any of you guys on anything that we've discussed today. Yeah, that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at the panning real quick. So let's just have a quick look. All of these little dials down here is our panning. And I think we're going to call it that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop that there. So we're at 3 minutes, and I'm just going to set the panning, and that is us done. So our kick can stay in the middle because it doesn't really need to, like, it just needs to stay right in the center of the whole mix. Clap, we've already panned them out to each side, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it a little bit off to the side here just to give it some space, or at least a little bit more space in the mix. Our hi-hat, oh yeah, so this is our sample, isn't it? So we'll put that off to the side here. Let's just clean this up a little bit. And ear candy. Put that off to that side. And our ride off to the left here. We might even turn that down just a little smidge. So where this ear candy is a bit low in the mix, what I'm going to try and do is use this utility to just bring that up a little, so we can see these little green bars here. Just want them a little bit more in line with everything else, as well as this. Might make everything a little bit muddy. The whole mix is actually just a bit muddy at the moment. But if we look at our melodies here, we're trying to span them out. So our bass, we want to keep slap bang in the middle. Lead line. This should have had some more attention, really. I think for a bit of variance. But I am going to call it there. With regards to our complete track. So what we'll do is I'm going to reset everything that's playing. I don't know if you guys can see here. I've got what's called a launch pad. If I bring this over, still can't see it. This might be problematic. I've already thought this part through. But if I just bring that down here. Guys all see that? So we're going to try a bit of arranging. This might go completely tits up, but what I'll do is we'll have a little play through it, and then after the stream, like after we've had a listen through, I'll do some proper arranging. I'll make this track up for download and just send it over if you guys want to keep hold of it. I'll put it up on like SoundCloud or something, or I'll make it somewhere where it's downloadable. But yeah, let's see if we can give this a whirl. And yeah, thanks very much, guys. Let's see what sort of. I've got two here. I don't think we need this. I need this other one. Hi-hats serving different purpose. Okay, right. Let's give it a go. Of course, what might help is if we actually set that to record. going to try that again. Wrong button. Why do we even have that lever crunk? we go, guys. Thank you very much. So that's it for this stream. We're not going to keep that recording. Well, I'm going to spend about 5 minutes actually making an arrangement after this. I thought that was probably going to be not the main struggle. The whole thing was the main struggle. But yeah, no, that actually came along quite nicely. So thank you all very much for attending. Hope you guys had fun. And yeah, I will be just arranging this after the fact. I'll be checking my DMs if you guys want to hit us up for anything. Want to ask any questions about the stream or want a copy of the file, be more than happy to send that over. But possibly same time next week. I think I'm going to keep this up. May even make a new track. Don't want to make it like tutorials every single time, but just stuff that's going to keep you guys engaged. If you guys got any suggestions, be more than happy to hear them. But yeah, until next time, thanks very much again, guys, and we'll catch up soon. Peace.